Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching. All my loyal followers know that this is mostly a channel about fixing lawn equipment and lawnmowers, and we have the occasional car repair. This is one of them. So I just got a family member. It's my grandpa's 2002 Toyota Camry. They bought it new off of the lot in 2002, and I had 100 and some miles on it. It now has over 218,000 miles. And I just got it from him, and it just needs some maintenance items. It's been maintained, but just needs kind of those items that once you hit the 200,000 mile mark is pretty readily available. If you're looking for a quick how-to video, there's already one on YouTube by many other folks. This is not going to be one of those. I do a little bit more in-depth stuff and story time, so to speak. So we've got engine mounts that we're going to do on this video, but I'll give you a hint what's coming up next on it. We're nice and floaty like a boat here. Suspension work will be coming on all four corners as well down the line. This is pretty immediate. I will show y'all here, and we'll get started right now. Like I said, if you're looking for how-to videos, a quick how-to video, this is probably not going to be it. I will go ahead and give you the warning. However, we're still going to do it, and we're going to go ahead and see what we run into, because I kind of like to research and then do it myself to see if there's any obstacles that you may run into. So I hope this helps some folks out, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so here is the Camry, cold engine. I just pulled it in the garage. You have, what I see are 4 mounts, and that's what came on the in the box to replace it with. You can see this one I think is pretty common, but this one is completely shot. So what we've got going on is the engine moves quite a bit, and it's not supposed to, and it puts some stress and stuff on some of the other items here in the engine bay, and it's causing like a bunch of rattling and whatnot whenever you first start it up, just because of there's no dampening of the engine pretty much, and you'll feel it go pretty hard into gear and whatnot because the engine is the motor mounts are pretty bad. So looks like the first thing we need to do is get this valve cover plastic piece off. It looks like it's 210 millimeters. And we'll do that first. 10 millimeter. Yes. Okay. Put them somewhere where you don't lose them. I think these might just be pop tabs in the back. Let's see. I think they are. Yeah, just little clips. A little bit of insulation under there. And you can see a valve cover gasket is probably going to be in its near future. Also, maybe I might just tighten it down while I'm here to see if it'll stop leaking. So what that allows you to do is allows you to get access to this nut right here easier, and then you got your bolt here and your bolt here and your nut down here under this strut tower, and that is pretty much it for the top mount. What we're going to do is grab a jack and support the engine while we do this. Okay, so we've got support on the engine. And now, let me grab the tools that we need. It looks like they're going to be 12 or 13 millimeter wrenches and ratchets, and we will get that top mounting engine mount off. All right, I have the engine supported by the jack under here. I do not have the car being jacked up by the engine oil pan. We're just using this as a support mechanism. And just got my ratchet here. We're taking it off. That should be it. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Now we're going to literally just pull it off and pull it out. There we go. So as you can see, the smaller boot was fine. The larger one, and this is I think a very common failure point, but you can see this one is completely shot. Like nothing left. So that's the first one to take off. I don't know if we need these, so we'll keep them. This one's pretty much trash. I will set them aside here in the garage. Put like things with like things, right? So this one goes on the top area. The shorter bolt. The longer bolt goes where the larger bushing is. Pretty easy. Let me see which mount I need to tackle next. I know that one of them, you got to take some tires off and stuff. So let me get to that point, and we will do the next one. All right, guys, here we are into the car. We're going to replace the right motor mount next. Just got to take this panel off. It's two 10 millimeters. And they screw into what appears to be plastic. And I guess you can just get it out of the way. I think there's a third one back there, but I don't think it's necessary because we just have to get this mount off right here. So, obviously we got the tire off too. So it looks like you're going to need like I think it's a 17 or an 18 on the bottom and the top. And we'll take it off here next. All right, here's our next step. So I got that it's a 19 millimeter right there. We got that broken loose. And then there's a couple of caps that you have to pop off right here and right here. And then your other 19, I think that might be a 19, maybe a little smaller. That looks like a 17. You have right here, and it mounts to the frame, so you got to take that off as well. And then you've got those nuts right there, which are probably 15 or 17, I will confirm. And then should have this at the point where we can kind of jack it and wiggle it off. So let me go ahead and do that. Alright guys, 19 millimeter on the top, 19 millimeter on the bottom, 17 millimeter on the bottom, excuse me. 17 millimeter, 17 millimeter. Breaker bar is your friend. Use that to break it open. And now we just jack up the engine and get it off. Should be relatively easy now. So, bless me, excuse me. So let's jack this thing up, see if we can get it off. Maybe one more pump, or do you think we got it? Yeah, one more pump. There we go. Yeah, we got to go a little more. Oh, that's all my jacks got. I hope this is enough. There we go. So, let's take a look at this one. This one doesn't look bad, but again, 200,000 miles. You see we got a little play in it still, so you can see a little play right there and whatnot. So let me open up my box of goodies and we will put the right one back on. Alright guys, so here are the old ones and the new ones respectively for the two that we've taken off so far. Old one, you can see broken. I can pretty much push it through. New one, noticeably lighter because I got aftermarket. I think I paid like $70-some for all of them. I mean, it was ridiculously cheap. And so that's what I've got. We're going to put this little rubber boot on just like that. I don't know why it didn't come on there. But the good news is this is like a threaded stud, so we can put that in after. Line it up. It looks like the long side goes out, so we'll screw the short side in. But this should be pretty easy. It should just fall right back into place. Let's get back under the car and we'll continue on. Alright, so you've got your threaded studs in here, so it should be pretty easy to line all the holes up. And it should be pretty easy to get everything back in here. So let's just line everything up. Kind of have to watch your transmission line or something right here. It's kind of in the way, but is that a transmission line? I'm not sure. You can just pull it up though. Alright, so we got it in the front too. We get it in the back one here. Ew. Guess aftermarket fit isn't perfect either, huh? There we go. Alright. Now we can kind of go ahead and thread this stud in while we're here. Lower the engine just a tiny bit. Maybe not that fast. Gotta get this stud threaded in first. Let's do that before we lower the engine. That way we can line it up easier. Hopefully. So, might as well, let's see what I can do here. Let me put the 17 millimeters back on underneath. I'll put these 3 bolts back in to mount it. That mounts it to the frame, and then we'll work on this top bolt because that's the most important. The others are just plug and play. Alright guys, I got number 2 in. It was a little fun, not terrible. Would have been a lot more fun or less fun, however you want the sarcasm to go, if I hadn't stripped one of the threads or tried to cross thread a bolt. But they're in there. What I did, I'll explain because I'm not very good at showing. I threaded the nuts on just a little bit, that way that the motor mount wasn't going anywhere. And then I ended up pushing this mount in a little bit so that I could get it onto the, get it into the little groove that it goes where you have this little cross member. Got that on, was able to just push it in just a little bit in order for it to go. And then I was able to put this nut on. Excuse me, thread this bolt in once I got that situated onto this bracket. And then I just took the 3/4 inch wrench and just wrenched it until I couldn't wrench anymore, and it is now on there. So now, excuse me, I think this cushion is giving me some allergies. We'll move on to the left side next. Alright guys, we're on the left side now. Almost the same premise. And it's out. Went ahead and got it out. Like I said, it's very similar in nature to what we just did. Got 2 mounting bolts. You have your 2 caps you take off. 1 bolt. Second bolt back here somewhere. Then your 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom of the mount. Jacked it up. I needed to jack this side up just a little bit higher in order for it to clear, and I ended up kind of twisting it out, and it worked out just fine. So now, according to what I've watched, it's better off to go ahead and do the front mount while we're here. While we've got this one off and got everything jacked up, I've got a second jack available if we need it. So, oh, that ground wire is a little stretched, but we'll be careful about that. It's not a big deal if something happens to it. Whew, I don't like that, but that's all right. Looks like we got a big 19 millimeter right here that we have to take off. And then on the bottom, let me check on the bottom and I'll tell you what that is. Probably a 17 if it's like the rest. Your fourth mount is right here, and it looks like it's going to mount on the bottom with 3. Actually, it looks like it's got 3 mounting posts on the bottom, and that'll make it easier to get off. So that'll be next, and we will get that. I will go ahead and get that now and tell you how everything goes with it. All right, guys, I got the front mount off. I don't know how well we're going to be able to see down here. It was 3 14 millimeters. I had to take down the little plastic a little bit. It was just zip tied on. I'll just zip tie it back on. It's not really a big deal. I think it worked just fine. I took and repositioned the jack to kind of the middle of the engine so I could jack the front of the engine up, and that did the trick in order to get, once I got this bolt off, it's not a stud, it's just a bolt. And I was able to get this mount fished up through here. I originally was taking this exhaust shield off, which I need to put back on now. But we got it off, and now we're going to put the new one on. And remember, I did all this while I had the left side off to give myself a little bit more leverage and a little bit more room to work with. So, sorry I'm not filming this very well. I'm trying to explain it. Like I said, a lot better explanations on other videos, so don't hate me for that. Let me get the other 2 mounts in. The left side one, again, came off kind of the same as the right side one like I mentioned before, and I'll set it down and we'll test everything out. Alright, let me show you one thing that kind of almost hung me up here. and that's this air filter bracket. You might want to take it off, but I was able to get the bracket to where it would clear the starter. So that was kind of one of the hang-ups that I had. I got it down, I got it lined up, I've got that bolt in it, I'm about to put the 3 bottom bolts in it, and then we'll put the other mount on, and then we will finish everything up. I ended up taking this ground strap off for right now because it was getting too really stressed out, totally stressed out was what I was trying to say. Has not damaged it though, just bent it a little bit, so we'll pop it back on. Just be wary of those 2 things. That's really the only hang-ups. Like I said, I tried to take off this exhaust shield, but I was able to finagle it and wiggle it up through this little area with the engine jacked up, and it worked out okay. So, like I said, I'll get this back on. And then I'll go ahead and put the remaining nuts in on the bottom here. I'll put this back on, and then I'll put the left one on after that. And then all that would remain is this little brace up here at the top, and then we'll be good to go. Alright guys, we're getting close to the end here. My job is pretty much done for the day. I just have to put this cover back on. This one came off this one went on about like it came off. Just kind of have to wiggle the mounts in, and it's good to have a pry bar, not one that size, but a bigger one. And you just kind of have to wiggle it around, and it's literally a delicate act. The way that I saw on YouTube how to do it is the best way to go. You take the front support off up top, you do the right side by itself, and then you take the left one off, leave the left one off, do the front one, come back and put the left one on, and then put the support back on up top here. It worked out beautifully, and I think we're going to be good. So let me get everything back on. Again, like I said, not the best how-to, I understand. I'm not trying to be. Y'all know that cars are not my forte. Sometimes y'all just like to see stuff that's in the driveway and see what I have to do to keep it running. That's just one of these videos. Let me get the cover back on it here, and I gotta get the tire and torque the lug nuts and stuff, so clean up and all that good stuff. And then we'll crank it up and see how it does. But already it's not moving at all compared to what it was, which is awesome. Alright guys, so that concludes the video here on the Camry. Like I said, I have a little bit more of an in-depth video as opposed to just a direct how-to video. If I remember, I will link the one that I looked at before I did this. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I have driven this car probably about a little over a week since filming, and it's doing just fine. The motor mounts are holding up great. Biggest thing I've noticed is that whenever you shift it from reverse into drive, it's not jolting like it was because the engine's not rocking back and forth in the engine bay, and it seems a little bit quieter off the line, so to speak, because the engine's not going back and forth with that torque. And so overall, a little bit of a smoother experience. There are things to come which I'll continue in this video series on this car. We've got to do coils, plugs, and valve cover gasket, and then we need to do cleaning the throttle body, and then last but not least, to my knowledge, we've got to do the entire all 4 struts and coils, suspension wise. So there'll be a couple more videos coming. This will kind of help supplement me getting through the winter, since I don't have a lot of lawn equipment videos to show y'all in the winter time, because grass doesn't grow and I don't get any snow, so don't have the snowblower stuff either. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. So far this thing's been pretty easy to work on, and it's getting about 31 miles to the gallon and getting about 500 miles on the tank, so I can't ask for much more than that. So thank y'all again. Again, my website's ellismowers.com. My email is ellis@ellismowers.com. If you have any questions, feel free to email, contact me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. See you then.